Detective James Carlson had seen a lot in his 20 years with the San Francisco Police Department, but the call that came in on a misty October night sent a chill down his spine that he couldn't shake. A child had gone missing from her bedroom in the quiet neighborhood of Pacific Heights. The window was open and the room was untouched, but what made it truly unnerving was the message written on the wall: "She's with us now." James and his partner, Detective Lily Thompson, were on the scene within minutes. They were met by the terrified parents who could hardly speak through their tears. The mother kept repeating the girl's name, Emma, as if calling her would somehow bring her back. The room was exactly as described, like a scene straight out of a horror movie. The window was indeed open, the curtains swaying gently in the breeze. The bed was neatly made, Emma's favorite stuffed animal resting where her head should have been. And there, on the wall in what appeared to be dark red crayon, was the message, "She's with us now." "What do you make of this, Lily?" James asked, his voice betraying a hint of unease. Lily, ever the pragmatic one, was examining the window. "No signs of forced entry. Whoever took her knew what they were doing." James couldn't take his eyes off the message. "This isn't normal, Lily. This feels wrong." Lily looked at him, concern in her eyes. "Let's just focus on finding Emma. We'll figure out the rest later." They spent the next several hours combing the neighborhood, questioning anyone who might have seen something. But it was as if Emma had vanished into thin air. Days turned into weeks, and the search for Emma became an obsession for James. He pored over every detail of the case, searching for a clue that might lead them to her. But there was nothing, except for the other cases. As he dug deeper, James discovered a pattern. Emma wasn't the first child to go missing in San Francisco in such a manner. Over the past decade, there had been several other cases, all eerily similar. A child taken from their bedroom, an open window, a message left behind, and none of them had ever been found. James felt a growing sense of dread as he connected the dots. This wasn't just a kidnapping. This was something more sinister, something that defied explanation. He tried to share his findings with Lily, but she dismissed it as a coincidence. "We need to focus on the evidence, James, not go chasing after ghosts." But James couldn't shake the feeling that they were dealing with something beyond their understanding. He began to delve into the city's darker history, looking for a connection. What he found sent shivers down his spine. The cases all traced back to an old legend, a tale of a cult that had once practiced dark rituals in the hills surrounding San Francisco. They were said to have worshipped an ancient entity, performing sacrifices to appease it. The cult had been eradicated over a century ago, their practices condemned and forgotten. But what if they hadn't been entirely wiped out? What if they were still operating, still taking children for their dark purposes? James began to feel the walls closing in, a nagging fear gnawing at the back of his mind. He knew he was onto something, but the further he dug, the more elusive it became. The legend of the cult was shrouded in mystery and hidden in the shadows of the past. One day, while poring over old newspaper clippings and dusty manuscripts in the library, he stumbled across a name that caught his eye: the Children of the Forgotten God, a sect that had been active in the late 1800s, known for their dark rituals and the kidnapping of children. There was a mention of a location, a hidden shrine in the hills where the cult had conducted their ceremonies. With a sense of dread and anticipation, James decided to investigate. He didn't tell Lily about his discovery. He knew she would object, tell him he was chasing shadows. This was something he had to do on his own. In a hidden chamber, he found evidence of recent activity: candles, symbols drawn in fresh blood, and a picture of Emma. His heart pounding, James realized that he had stumbled upon something real, something terrifying. The cult was still active, still taking children, and Emma was their latest victim. He raced back to the city, desperate to share his discovery with Lily. He knew that time was running out, that they had to act fast if they were to save Emma. Lily was skeptical at first, but the evidence was undeniable. They alerted their superiors, organized a task force, and headed back to the shrine. But they were too late. The shrine was empty. All traces of the cult's activities erased. They had vanished, slipping through their fingers like smoke. The case went cold, and the search for Emma was eventually called off. James was left with a sense of defeat, a haunting feeling that he had failed. But the story doesn't end there. Years later, after James had retired, he received a letter, an anonymous note written in a child's handwriting. "She's with us now." Chilled to the bone, James realized that the cult was still out there, still watching, still taking children, and they knew that he knew. He spent the rest of his life looking over his shoulder, haunted by the knowledge that he had come so close to unraveling their secrets, but had ultimately failed. The legend of the children of the forgotten god lived on, a dark shadow over San Francisco, a reminder that there are things in this world that defy explanation, lurking just beyond our understanding. And somewhere, in a hidden chamber, the children are still playing, forever lost to a world they will never return to.